Okay, so now we have chosen our theme, we have created the pages we plan to use, and next up is actually adding the content. So I'm on my home page right now. I'm in the Insert tab over here. And I have several options. I'm not going to show you every single one, but I'll show you some of the major ones. So you can insert a text box. If you just click on an option, it will throw a text box or whatever it is down here. And so we'll just, let me think of something to say. Okay, so you type your text and you have some formatting choices up here you can make. Again, you are limited to title, heading, subheading, or normal text as far as how big your text is. A couple other things you can do. I'm going to center this. You can change the background color for this section. So they have some emphasis styles you can use, or you could add a background image as well, kind of similar to the header. So I'm going to go ahead and choose maybe this emphasis. And at the moment, I can't move this around because I don't have anything else on there, but I will show you once you add more content, you can move these sections around. But this is kind of restricting me right now because it's working its website magic. It knows it's going to look best if everything's together and not randomly separated on the page. So it's going to keep it where it will look the most visually appealing. So if I add an image, let's say, just find a school picture. Okay, so I can resize this image if I'm thinking, oh, it's a little too big. And when I click and drag, I get those grid lines again. So I'm able to tell if my image is centered. And then now that I have more content, I can rearrange these things. So you can see that blue line back there. That's where this will go when I let go of it. So I can rearrange once I have more things. Okay, cool. So there's text and images. I'm going to go on and show you how to insert things from your Google Drive. So I am going to switch over actually to my This Week page. You can either use your own navigation up here, or you can go back to Pages and you can navigate that way. Okay, so I have a Google slideshow I want to put on this page. So I'm going to go down. You could either do, you want something from your Drive, or you can say you want to insert a slideshow. All of these things will get you to the same place, basically. So I'm going to say I want to insert a slideshow, and then it pulls up my recent slideshows, and here is the one I want to use. You can also search, so if you know the title of it, you can search right here, and it can find it for you. Okay, so again, I can adjust this. I can click and drag. I'll get those grid lines so I know if I'm centered. And I can change the size of this. Sometimes, particularly with the slideshows, I think it lets you do some funky things. Like, I'm not quite sure why I'd ever want it to look like that. And then it doesn't really make it square again. So, you know, you have to, some of these things aren't exactly perfect, but you play with them and make them work the best you can. So here I can open the slideshow itself so I can remember what it is. And then here I can do my slideshow settings. So I want this to start automatically when they go to this page, and I want it to loop through the sections. So I'll go ahead and say done. And then actually, I'm going to see if I can make this just a little bigger. I feel like it was larger when I put it in there, and now it's gotten smaller. Okay. And again, I can add an emphasis color if I want it in the background of that section. Okay, next up, I will go to math. And for math, I actually have a YouTube video I want to embed, but I don't have that prepared. So let me just pull this up real quick. Here we go. This is the URL. Just going to copy this, and you can get that straight from YouTube also. And then I'm going to embed this video. And once again, you can adjust the size to fit. And then I'll put this here in the middle. And then I'm actually going to preview what I've done so far just to make sure it's looking all right. So, okay, we've got the video here and my slideshow here. Perfect. And this will go full screen for parents, and then also your videos, when you hit play, they can do full screen also.
Hey kids, I'm the number.
All right. Next up, I am going to put in, oh, I forgot, on my home page, I wanted to add a Google Doc. Go back home. I just have some information about my class. So I'm going to say my Google Docs and this class information. And so what I wanted you to see about this is that when you embed a Google Doc, it will show you the viewable area for parents or for viewers. And so what you can't see is that they do have a scroll bar. So if I go to preview, then you are able to see that the parents can scroll up and down on this document. It just doesn't seem that way when you are in edit mode. So what I am adjusting is the viewable area. So maybe I do want more of this document to be visible before they have to scroll. So I can make that adjustment. And then when I go back to my preview mode, I'll see they can definitely see more now and then just scroll down a little bit. So you are in charge of the viewable area. Okay. What do we have left? Let's see. Let's do some reading. I have a Google form here that I actually want to embed. And so I am curious what books they would like to read. And so similar to the Google Docs, I can adjust how much of this they can see. So in this case, I'd like them to see the whole thing because it's a very short survey. And there we go. And then for science, I've got a drawing. So none of these things say drawing. So I'm just going to go back up to my drive and I will find it this way. Okay, I'm going to embed this Venn diagram that I want them to be able to see and we can talk about as a class. Yep, a little off center. There we go. And lastly, we'll do social studies, and I have a map I would like to insert. So here under Insert Map, you can search for something right away, or if you have built a map using Google My Maps, you can insert that. So I have this European Explorers map, and I'm going to put that in here and center it. Okay. So far I've just shown you like one thing on each page, but one other thing that's really nice about the new Google Sites is that it makes it real easy to, I guess, organize multiple pieces of content. So if on my social studies page, I want to throw in a text box, okay, then not only can I rearrange it this way, but I can also shrink it and rearrange it this way. So I can move things the way I want to just by clicking and dragging. And it will kind of organize it in a way that makes sense for me. Okay, so now that we've got the theme, we've got our pages set up, and we have put in our content, next up is to actually publish the site. So what I've done so far has saved. If I exit out of this and open it back up from my Google Drive, everything is still there. However, nobody can find this yet because I have not published my website. So that is what this publish button is for. The first time you push publish, it will ask you to give a name to your website. So I will do third grade. And then here's where you control the privacy. So if this is a classroom website, if you want students and parents to access it, then definitely change this to anyone on the web can view. If maybe this was just a place where, I don't know, science teachers collaborated and put their ideas or shared folders or something, then you could do anyone at d57.org. But I think mostly you'll want parents and students to see what you're doing. So anyone on the web, and then you'll go ahead and publish. Okay, so what that means is now I have this little arrow right here, and so I have several options. I can unpublish my site if I no longer want it to be live. I can view the site, so here is the URL. That's what I would send in to Trevor or your BTA to get that posted on your school's website. And then I can also, every time I make a change, so let's do, if I make a change, now that change will not be reflected on this published site, like even if I refresh, nothing's going to show up here. So I could make changes if I'm like, I'm just going to play around with this and come back to it and finish it later. And then as long as I don't hit publish, nobody can see what I'm doing yet. But if I want those to be visible, then I just need to hit publish again. And then it will update for viewers. So now that I've refreshed, now my changes are showing up. Okay. Let's see what published settings are. Oh, that just takes me back to what I've already seen. So I think those are the basics of what you need to know. I will make a separate little segment about publishing just because I know this segment has been so long. So yeah, happy website building.